Adding decimals, Chapter 5, Lesson 6. Objective. Students will add decimals by lining up digits in the same place value. Let's write down the steps to adding a decimal, and then we will do several examples together. Step 1. Line up the decimal places, annex any zeros. Annex means to add. Step 2. Add the digits in the same place value position. Step 3. Bring the decimal point straight down. Example number 1. Find 42 and 3/10 plus 34 and 5/10. First, we are going to estimate. 42 and 3/10 rounds to 42. And 34 and 5/10 rounds to 35. If I add 42 and 35, I get 77. So our answer needs to be around 77. Step 1. Line up the decimal places, annex any zeros. Annex means to add a zero. When adding decimals, we need to write the problem vertically and line up the decimal points. If you notice, my tens are lined up, my ones are lined up, and my tenths are lined up. Step 2. Add the digits in the same place value position. So just like any regular addition problem, we are going to start with the position on the right. 3 plus 5 is 8. 2 plus 4 is 6. And 4 plus 3 is 7. Step 3. Bring the decimal point straight down. So our decimal point will be between the 6 and the 8. So our answer is 76 and 8/10. That means 42 and 3/10 plus 34 and 5/10 equals 76 and 8/10. Now we want to go back and see if it's close to our estimation. When we estimated, we got 77. 76 and 8/10 is close to 77, so my answer is correct. For example number 2, we are going to find 3 and 25/100 plus 12 and 6/10. Step 1. Line up the decimal places, annex any zeros. So we are going to write our problem. 3 and 25/100. Now I want you to look at where the place value is. We are not going to line them up to the left. We need to line them up according to place value. So the 10 needs to go in the tens place, and the 2 needs to go in the ones, and then we have 6/10. If you notice, we have some empty spaces. This is where step 1 comes in. It says annex any zeros. That means any places there are blanks, we can add a 0. That'll help when we add it. Step 2. Add the digits in the same place value position. We are going to start with the hundredths. 5 plus 0 is 5. With the tenths, 2 plus 6 is 8. 3 plus 2 is 5. 0 plus 1 is 1. Step 3. Bring the decimal point straight down. It is going to be between the 5 and the 8. So my answer is 15 and 85/100. Now, I want to double check with my estimation. If I have 3 and 25/100, that will round to 3. And 12 and 6/10 will round to 13. 3 plus 13 equals 16. 16 is close to 15 and 85/100, so I know my answer is correct. Guided practice. For number 1, I would like you to solve the problem on your own. Please write down the problem, pause the video, and solve it on your own. When you have finished, please push play and check your answer. Let's see if you got it correct. 2 plus 6 is 8, 3 plus 4 is 7, and 6 plus 1 is 7. Step number 3 tells me to bring down the decimal point. My answer is 7 and 78 hundredths. If I were to estimate it, 6 and 32 hundredths would round to 6, and 1 and 46 hundredths would round to 1. If I add that up, that is 7. So my estimation is close to my answer. Number 2, 89 hundredths plus 3 hundredths. I want you to pause the video and solve it on your own. When you have the answer, please push play. Alright, let's see how you did. 9 plus 3 is 12, so I'm going to write the 2 and carry over the 1. 8 plus 1 plus 0 is 9. And 0 plus 0 is 0. My next step is to bring down the decimal point. It goes right there. My answer is 92 hundredths. If I were to estimate that, 89 hundredths rounds to 1, and 3 hundredths rounds to 0. If I were to add them, I would get 1. 1 is close to 92 hundredths, so my answer is correct. Number 3. For this problem, I would like you to write it vertically. Remember to line up the place value. I want you to pause the video and rewrite the problem lining up the place values. Push pause now. Now, your problem should be rewritten like this. Step number 1 says we need to annex any zeros. If you notice, we have a blank spot, so I'm going to be adding a 0 to that spot. We just annexed a 0. Now, I would like you to pause the problem again and solve it on your own. Push play to check your answer. Welcome back. 4 plus 0 is 4. 5 plus 8 is 13. We're going to carry that 1. And 1 plus 0 plus 7 is 8. Now, we are going to bring down the decimal. And your answer should be 8 and 34 hundredths. You are now ready for independent practice. Here is a song that can help you remember to line up the decimals.
When you're adding and subtracting decimals,
When you're adding and subtracting decimals,
you gotta line up the soldiers.
you gotta line up the soldiers.
Fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks.
Put in a decimal point.
Put in a decimal point.
At the bottom of the tank.
At the bottom of the tank.
That's it.
That's it.
Please complete the following independent practice problems. We will correct these at school tomorrow. Remember to line up the place values and annex the zeros if needed.